Welcome to In the Huddle with John Ritchie. John, the Birds put on a dominant performance over the Titans last week with their 35-10 victory. They even held Derrick Henry, somebody that we were nervous about before the game, to just 30 yards rushing. Do you think last week's game was really a turning point for the Birds and the rest of their season?
Yeah, I think it could be a springboard. That that was a badass showing by the Eagles on both sides of the football, but especially, stopping the run was a real worry of mine. And when you look at the numbers, you can say, 8 weeks out of this season, the Eagles have allowed 99 or more rushing yards. I felt like that was going to be the way everyone attacked us. And they did a really, really nice job. Jonathan Gannon did a really nice job, too, of getting a safety up there, close to the line of scrimmage. He did a nice job of sort of jockeying the safeties, making it difficult for Ryan Tannehill to know exactly what the coverage was. We didn't declare our coverage right away. We sort of disguised that. But having one of those guys, either Epps or Blankenship down near the line of scrimmage, in addition to this newfound, I don't know, angry play by our cornerbacks, by linebackers taking on blocks and shedding. It was everyone was tackling, everyone was hitting, everyone was playing the brand of football that I thought the Titans did so well, which was we're just going to out tough you. The Eagles, they always had the talent. They always had great scheme, especially on the offensive side of the football. But suddenly we now have the attitude that we can hurt you physically. And I hope that carries through. I do hope. And it's a week-to-week league, as we know. Anytime you don't show up with the right approach, with the right mindset, an average team can beat you. But I don't think the Eagles are going to fall prey to that. It feels like they're very consistent with their belief in improvement every week. And hey, what we came up short on in week 12, we're not going to come up short on in week 13. We're going to address any issues that we show. This Eagles team is for real.
I love to hear that, especially we talked at the end of last week that they really can't afford to lose much of the rest of the season, especially with that Dallas game on December 24th, Christmas Eve. But speaking of Dallas, you listen to the national media, and even though the Eagles, they did struggle playing wise when you watched them the last couple of weeks prior to the Titans, but they a win's a win in my book. So they
Yeah.
still only have one loss, but everybody has the Cowboys winning the NFC as a whole. What do you think about that national narrative? Do you think that just adds fuel to the fire and it's actually a good thing for Philly?
I think it's a good thing for Philly. We know that these players, the core group, guys like Brandon Graham and Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, they were wearing dog masks when we won the Super Bowl because no one gave them a chance. And I think it's always a positive when you've got a team that is really as sound as ours, one that doesn't look like they have problems when the outside media creates a problem for them. That is just a little touch of adversity that the coaching staff can use, that players, if they need a little extra motivation, they can look at the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, I don't understand why the Dallas Cowboys are being thought of in this indomitable way. They are very talented. I think they're close to where the Eagles are if the Dallas Cowboys are showing up, which they don't always seem to do. The Cowboys should not. I mean, the Cowboys are basically in line to play in the first week of the postseason, and they might lose. The Cowboys, if things started today, they would play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, And it's possible they lose that game against Tom Brady and a group that knows how to get it done in the postseason. I'm amazed. This Eagles team, so consistent. The Dallas Cowboys, always a roller coaster, yet people tip their hat to them. I have no idea why that occurred.
Yeah, it's one of those frustrating things, and I think that's really what adds to Eagles fans' hate of the Cowboys. Not only are they a rival, but it's always they're the Cowboys, and everybody just hates Philadelphia and sleeps on Philly. And yet we're seeing it again. I agree with you completely. But we do have another NFC East rival in, well, no, we're going to them this week
Yeah.
in the New York Giants. How do you think that plays out?
You know, the Giants, they've been a lot better than anyone expected this season, and that's because Brian Dable, their head coach, is a really smart coach, and he's taking an offense that doesn't have a whole lot to work with aside from Saquon Barkley and making it work, making it run. Daniel Jones is improving under Brian Dable's tutelage, and they are using his skill set very effectively. And we know that we've watched Daniel Jones sprint past us in previous years, like outrun our secondary, which is crazy. They're using him on the zone read stuff, and he's pulling it out of the back's gut and keeping it himself, and he's scrambling for yardage when things break down. He is gawky but fast, and they're using it. They don't have a whole lot of choices, like good choices to throw the ball to, but Saquon Barkley being in the backfield and being as effective as he is, that opens up the play action. And so offensively, they are smart and they will have a plan. Defensively, they're tough. They're up front. They're stout. So it's not going to be like a walkover. And the fact that it's a division game, the fact that, think back to last year, we lost an ugly one when Jalen Hurts played his worst game as an Eagle against this Giants team. We have some payback in that regard. I think Jalen Hurts probably, because he's such a self-motivator, has that in the back of his mind, and he wants to have a much better showing this time around. I have a lot of confidence that the Eagles are the better team. I have a lot of confidence they can win this game pretty comfortably, but I think there will be times that the Giants can, bust a big run with Saquon, or Daniel Jones will infuriatingly escape and outrun people down the sideline. But I don't think this game has to be close.
I like it. I agree with you 100%. What's your score if you have one?
Geez, 34-20.
Oh, I like it. Okay, John, as always, before we wrap it up, we have Thursday night football tonight. Again, not the most exciting matchup. You got the Raiders at the Rams. What do you have for the game?
Well, I love the Raiders. A special fondness for the Raiders. I hope that they become good. And it looks like over the last several weeks, they are taking steps in the right direction. I think they dominate tonight. Josh Jacobs is unbelievable. And Devontae Adams is really coming around. Derek Carr, I think he can have a big night. So I think on the ground, through the air, they can own a Rams team that's without Aaron Donald on up front and without Matt Stafford as their quarterback. And they might be starting Baker Mayfield, who they just picked up. And how can he run the offense? I have no idea. Sean McVay has a huge task on his hands with the way things are unfolding with the Rams. They're one of the worst teams to watch. They've got nothing, and I think the Raiders can dominate.
I'll be rooting for them just for you, John. But the Rams are a sad franchise right now, so it
It's
wouldn't
awful.
surprise me if they take it. But that's all we have for In the Huddle with John Ritchie ahead of Week 14 of the NFL season. As always, you can listen to John on 94.1 WIP Monday through Friday from 10 to 2. And make sure you go check out the Bet Parks app and download all of our social media platforms. We'll huddle again next week.